Now, today is World Menopause Day, which focuses on the medical and social issues women face at this stage in their lives. A recent survey by the British Menopause Society found that more than half of women feel negative about their experience of the menopause and would like greater support. My next guest has written a book about her ongoing battle with menopause. At the age of 34, singer and actress Michelle Heaton experienced surgical menopause as a result of a hysterectomy. She's with us now. Hello to you. Thanks for joining us. What impact did it have on you?
Oh, I mean, I suppose the list is endless. I think most women who are going through menopause, you never have the same menopausal journey. Everyone has a very different one. Anything from mood swings, irritability, night sweats, day sweats, not being able to sleep, moods, you know, the incomprehensible feeling that you cannot tell the partner that you're with for life of how you really feel because everything's kind of kept in. The list is endless, but not everyone has the same effects. And some women out there are suffering alone because they're not able to talk about it.
Yours was an early menopause.
Yep.
Why?
So I have the BRCA2 cancer gene.
Right.
Which meant that I had a 85% risk of breast cancer and an enormous percentage risk of ovarian. So I underwent a double mastectomy and a total hysterectomy at the age of 34. So that plunged me into early menopause. My son was only 6 months at the time and my daughter 2.5 years. So it was kind of a lot to deal with when you're going through the hormone change of having new kids and menopause.
Oh, you had a lot on your plate, didn't you?
Yeah, you know, it's not easy. And not that I would have changed my decision.
No, of course.
But I don't think the education of what menopause had impact in my life was there. I didn't really know enough about it. So the reason, I suppose, that I wrote the book and why I'm talking about it today on World Menopause Day is trying to get women to talk about it. Because if we don't talk, we're not going to get that.
Yeah, it's like people don't want to talk about the menopause because they don't know how to deal with it and they don't know what to say about it.
It's almost like we're embarrassed.
Yeah.
But every woman goes through it.
Yeah.
So every single one of us goes through periods, menopause, cramps. You know, the list is endless that women, no offence to men, go through. But then our men have to deal with the menopause on a different level because they have to deal with us and understand us. And a lot of relationships that I've seen have broke down because of the menopause.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of education needs to be built up so that our men are understanding what we're going through for us to last.
Yeah. And even men that we, you know, are not, you know, in our close circle. I mean, I have been going through the menopause for, I don't know, 6-9 months. And people at work, you know, they're never quite sure how to deal with it. So if I'm in a meeting, I just need to say, oof, here comes my power surge, because I make light of it to try and make people feel more comfortable.
Yeah, to feel comfortable. But then that shouldn't be our responsibility. I think that the workplace needs to understand it more. And I know that today at the House of Commons, were talking about it in the Parliament about World Menopause Day, and they were trying to bring an educational method into the workplace so that our bosses can understand the way that we're going through. Because it's in everyday life. We're all, you know, like I said, every woman is going through it. And it's not just an older 60-year-old woman, it is getting younger and younger. A lot of women are going through it in their 30s, whether it's preventative or not. But we have to talk about it, and we need to find solutions to try and help deal with our menopausal symptoms as well.
So what advice do you give to men in the workplace then, who find themselves in a room with women who are going through the menopause?
Don't laugh. Be understanding. It's not a laughing matter. As much as you might make hot light of it in a situation, I get that, I totally understand. And I've done that with my friends who don't really understand what's going on. But inside, we're a little bit dying and we feel really self-conscious or irritable, hot, sweaty, unsexy. Yeah. You know, all of these words are associated with menopause, and that's how we feel, you know, 1 minute to the next. And nobody sees that. They're not understanding it, so it's really hard to put into words. So we, as women, need to know how to control it and manage it, and men need to know how to accept it as well.
Interesting. I find that modern men deal with it in a much better way than younger men in a much better way than older men. One of the guys in the office said to me today, you know, do we call it the change still? And of course we don't, because that was an old-fashioned word that meant that you changed from being a woman of childbearing years to a woman that was old.
Yes.
And we're not.
No, the whole point is to break that taboo. It's not about a certain age or about it being unsexy or about being older. There is no rules to menopause anymore. You're right, it should not be named the change. It's just a word. It's like having a period. We're going through menopause and we just need to learn how to control it.
but the challenges, not just physically, but mentally, can be extreme, as you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose for me, going through it so young or whatever age, it's been tough. I have
What do
really...
you find the most challenging?
I have really low days, self-confidence, weight gain in different areas that I never even knew existed, could gain weight. I think just a hormonal shift in general. I mean, I was quite lucky. I got put on HRT when I first started, but I hadn't quite regulated things. So then I looked...
That in itself can be a challenge, though.
It has, yeah,
it?
exactly.
Because if you've got a high increase of breast cancer,
yep.
Then likelihood of breast cancer, then HRT is not necessarily the right thing for you.
Not exactly. So I had to look at alternative methods. So then I went and searched for food supplements, menopausal food supplements, which I got from the pharmacist. Yeah, and Femoral is really good as well because it's all natural. It's all been approved, which are great alternatives for people who can't have HRT. Because you're right, it does not suit everybody. It's just not easy.
And are there lots of groups around where people can actually turn, or women can turn to say, oh, you know, obviously you don't want to, you can talk to your girlfriends, but are there support groups in place? What about if you go to your GP?
Of course, going to your GP or pharmacist. I think a lot of people forget about the pharmacists, that they are qualified as well. And if you ever need advice or help, they're there to help as well as, you know, not bothering, but taking a GP appointment. But no, there isn't enough help groups, which is crazy considering half of the population are going through it, and then the other half will be affected by it.
And when people say to me, you know, what are your emotional challenges when you're going through the menopause, I always say it's like being premenstrual but on steroids.
Yes. Yeah. Listen, I mean, there is no comparison in general at all. For me, I've got an amazing husband, and he's really patient with me, but there's still times where I question whether he's going to last the distance because I'm not myself. I find myself in situations where I look back and I think, that's not me. I never used to be that person. I used to be really fun, and I never used to be that dramatic. And it's not until I take myself away from that situation where I look back and think, I don't want to be that person. So
exercise is helpful, isn't it?
Yeah, I work out a lot. Exercise is a big part of it. Your diet. There are a long list. I know. Well, I actually think that wine might help at night. My husband tells me I'm actually nicer with a glass of wine, and he doesn't drink.
Right.
So that's saying a lot.
Right.
Look, the list is endless of what you can try. It's trial and error.
Yeah.
What works for one woman might not work for another.
The other
but
thing
you have to talk about it.
Of course. The other thing to remember, of course, I'm guessing, is that you don't know how long it's going to last.
Yeah.
And it's different lengths of time for different women.
Exactly. And, you know, I think there's about 30% of women who actually won't experience menopausal symptoms.
Is that right?
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So it's actually not going to affect everybody. But a massive amount of women, 95% of women, don't take HRT.
Yeah.
Which I find quite astounding, because I thought would be the opposite. It's because either they're scared of it or it's just not agreeing. But then do your research. There's so many more other availability across-the-counter pharmacists that can help you with different alternatives to HRT if that does not suit you.
Are you coming towards the end of the menopause?
No. I mean, I'm only 39.
Yeah.
So it's a long time.